Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, here to Sports Time HQ. I am your host, Reno. Joined with me today is my great co-host, Gary, who got himself a little haircut, I see.
Yeah, I did. I honestly never look the greatest after I get a haircut, but a few weeks in, it starts getting to the length that I like it. But right now, I'm looking a little rough.
I went to the barber the other day, and I was getting a haircut, and he asked me. He said, "Are you gonna touch your beard?" I said, "Yeah. I mean, if you'd like, you can trim it a little bit. Just trim a little. Nothing so big." Then he proceeds, does what he wants to do, and then he then asked me again. He goes, "Do you want to cut the beard?" I said, "Yeah, you can trim it." Cuts the whole beard, the whole thing. I said, "This guy just ruined my beard. It's literally non-existent. It doesn't even
Yeah,
exist."
so it goes
My, um, it looks like you. I don't know if your connection or my connection, but did you hear my whole spiel?
I'm yeah. I'm good now. I'm good now.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to make sure. Well,
I
we
got
got a great show here today. We got the rookie mock draft. We are mock a locking again, but this time it's not the NFL draft. It's the for anyone who is in dynasty leagues and want to see where their players are at that they're looking at for the rookie mock drafts. Obviously, we are officially in the month of the NFL draft. It's less than a month away. It's already here. Pretty soon, we're going to be showing and posting our top 10 rookies for each position, and as well as having the more mock drafts. It's the mock a lock a month. Isn't
yeah.
that
It's gonna
exciting?
be fun today. It's gonna be fun.
Let's dive into some quick news and notes around the league. And Gary, I don't know if you want to talk about it or if you heard about it. Your Browns, I think they now have more championships now.
Yes, I did see that. We added forgot how many it was, but due to this new rule that the NFL has passed to allow like accepting, I don't know, AAFL, is that what it is?
Mm-hmm.
Uh Rewards and championships and statistics. So now Otto Graham has 7 rings and is tied with who a lot of people believe the GOAT, Tom Brady,
Oh
in terms
yeah,
of ring status. So maybe Otto Graham is a case now. I don't know.
you think so? Who is the real GOAT, Otto Graham or Tom Brady?
Right.
That'd be interesting to have a conversation about, see which one's better. But yeah, congratulations to your Browns because that's the only way you guys can win championships, I guess.
Yeah, you're not wrong there.
Now, Giants head coach Brian Dable and GM Joe Schoen were talking about that they're not going to rule out adding a quarterback at number 3, but then rumors just came out today that it looks like that both the Browns and the Giants are both out on getting a quarterback in the second and third overall picks. I think this is a smart move for them. I don't think they need quarterbacks based on Browns more for cap space reasons, and the Giants who just now have James Winston and now Russell Wilson. I think you're adding a quarterback at this rate. You're just expecting them to either start the season or sit out one more season. But why would you spend such a high draft capital on that?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly how I feel. This is why I'm kind of happy about this news because as much as I do love Shadur, and you know that I've been, wanting him to come to Cleveland ever since we got taken out of playoff contention. But I just think we got to go Abdul Carter or at the very least Travis Hunter. I think they're both way more critical than getting a guy like Shadur Sanders. And personally, I believe that he might even be there at either late first round or maybe even the first pick of the second round, which we also have. If we want
Mm.
to trade that to get back into the first round, if he's still there, I don't know. But no matter what, I think if we're going to take a quarterback this draft, it needs to be a little bit later.
I actually heard a mock draft scenario about the Giants trading Malik Neighbors to the Patriots for their number 4 overall pick, and they would get at 3 and 4 Shador Sanders and Travis Hunter.
That just doesn't even make sense. But okay, keep dreaming, Pats fans.
I mean, I don't really care for Malik Neighbors. You know, he's great and all, but I just don't think it would ever happen. No, I'm not
Well,
saying
yeah,
I dislike
obviously.
the guy. I'm not saying he sucks. It's unrealistic. It'd be a wild
Well,
trade to do after just
well, that's what
drafting
I'm
him. But
saying. That's what I'm saying. Pats fans need to keep dreaming because that would never happen.
listen, we got Stephon Diggs. We're good. We're going to the Super Bowl
Okay,
this year.
here we go.
Oh my God. You know, like you said, Pats fans keep dreaming. Fortunately, I'll keep dreaming myself. Tush push. It's trying to be ruled out. They're trying to ban it. I want to hear your thoughts on the tush push. And do you think it should be banned?
I'm not necessarily a fan of it, but like to say that it should be banned is just going way above and beyond of what I think the extent should be that they go to when determining if this play should be used in the NFL or
Hmm.
not. Um, it's not like they're cheating. Like this is
No.
a game. It's a play in the game. They line up correctly, and they just have it so down to a strict science that no one can stop them. And it's not like they're the only team that tries it. Numerous teams have tried it themselves and haven't been able to do it as good as them. So I think it's just like any other play. While I agree at times it can be cheap and very annoying to watch, um, it's just like a simple QB draw like the Ravens do when they have 8 people blocking for Lamar Jackson and just letting him twitch his way to get the first down to solidify the game. I think it's the exact same thing. No one's trying to ban that play. So I would say it's a little over the top. I'm not a fan of the play, but definitely not bannable.
Yeah, I can completely agree with you on it. I think Sean McVay brought up a good point in an interview he had. He said that yeah, it doesn't really look like a true NFL play. It looks more like a rugby type of play, which I can very much get behind. And there could be safety concerns, but again, like you said, Gary, if it's working for one team, why is it being banned? Like if it's working for like a bunch of different teams and you want to make it more competitive, then sure, why not? You ban it, make it more competitive. To me, I think if one team's doing it, no other team can do it. That's not my problem. That's not your problem. Like Eagles found a way to move the ball, and that's exactly why that they should not be banned.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. I just think if it passes and it's banned, it just makes no sense.
Yeah, no, I completely agree.
Um, another rule change, overtime rules that changed a little bit. Now you can actually possess the ball. Each team can possess the ball. It's pretty cool now.
I think it should be that way. I think because a lot of people feel how I feel in the sense that you know it's great that we have it in the playoffs, but games like down the line are playoff games for some teams. Like I guess like this year,
Yeah.
teams that were on the cusp of making playoffs, or I don't know, a team like the Colts, or the Dolphins, I guess per se. They had close
Bengals.
games. The Bengals too, right? Exactly. All their games at the end of the year were very close, and they're pretty much being deemed as playoff games because they need them to get into the playoffs. So I think that we should have this rule implemented into the regular season because I think that we should have the exact same format for the regular season than we do in the playoffs because it goes hand in hand with you practice how you play, in my personal opinion. And I think it just levels the playing field all the more. So I'm all for it.
Yeah, and I completely agree with you. I think this is something that, I mean, here's the issue because I don't think they're going to change the time. I think it's still going to be 10 minutes. You could say that's enough for two teams, but we've seen teams take 9, 8, 9, 10 minutes almost for one possession. So, are you telling me that we would have to go into double overtime if the rule states that both teams have to possess the ball? If we got down to triple zeros?
I would say yeah. To be completely honest with you, I would say yeah, or make it a 15-minute period. I don't know. One of the two.
And I think that's how it should be. I think that's exactly how it should be. Will it be that? I don't think they're going to change it to be a 15 minutes, which is unfortunate. Yeah. There was another rule change. Oh, they're changing the kickoff rules. Instead of the 30-yard line is now the 35-yard line for a touchback.
This is just so stupid, in my opinion.
I mean, you might as well just put it at the 50-yard line at this point.
Right, exactly. One first down, you're already at midfield. I mean, I don't know who's making these rule changes, but I don't think I'm going to ask just a random person on the side of the street who's not an NFL fan. If there were more kickoff returns in the NFL, would you become an NFL fan? They're not going to tell me yes, because it's such a small component of the game that doesn't bring any craziness to the game like they think it's going to.
Yeah, and like Cooper Daly says, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's great for injury's sake. We haven't seen really much injuries during the kickoff, which is great. But I don't know. I think this, who even watches really the kickoffs anymore? Like, it's always a touchback still. And when it's a touchback, they don't really care. So it moves to the 30-yard line. I think now they're trying to get the 35-yard line to make sure the kickers kick it in the kicking zone. But at the same time, I mean, at the end of the day, 5 yards could make a difference. Will teams really care? I don't think they really will. I think we need to go back to the original rules, but somehow keep it in a way where we still have less injuries.
Yeah, I mean, in all honesty, like I think the teams are going to try to actually kick it in the landing zone, because having a team start at the 20 compared to the 35 is a monumental difference. Could be the difference between 3 points, could be the difference between a touchdown,
Yeah.
So I think teams are going to care about it, but they shouldn't have to. I truly think this is so stupid. I think we shouldn't have moved the kickoff, or we shouldn't have moved touchback past the 20. But I'm not in charge of any of this stuff.
At this rate, the NFL can call me up. I can try and kick it in the landing zone. I mean, that can easily be done. Right. I don't have the power to kick it outside the touchback, but by all means. Cooper saying injuries are part of the game. I want to see these men run into each other going mad speed. I mean, yeah, it'd be cool. That is what the NFL is all about. It's a lot of contact, a lot of hitting, and that's the thing. But obviously, they're trying to protect the players, which I completely get. Which then makes me go into the second rule, second change possibility. They're still trying to get that 18th game going on to be played. I almost said Cooper. Joe Burrow brought up a really good scenario. How about this? How about we have 2 bye weeks for each team? One randomly throughout the season that we see already. But what about we make 1 week, whatever week the NFL decides, every team is on a bye week. That's our Pro Bowl week.
I don't hate it. I would just offer a change. I truly think that if we're going to have a 2 bye week season, I think one should be in the first half, one should be in the second.
I completely agree with you.
And I get what he's trying to say, but I think the bye week plays more of a role than a lot of people really think or understand. And for certain teams, it comes at great places within the season. Other teams would rather it not be there if they're on a roll. So I think that we should just refrain from having this one joint bye week that I'm not a big fan of. But if we go to 18 games during the year, I'm all for the 2 bye weeks, because I think that needs to be implemented, and I'm sure the players would love that too.
Even with the 2 bye weeks, you still are against all the teams in 1 week being off.
Yeah, I mean,
what if we did? What if we made it into like an all-star break, like every other sport has?
I mean, maybe, but then again, like it has to be something that people would enjoy because right now it's not at all. It's a complete laughing stock. Uh,
Exactly.
and I think if it's not turned into something that people enjoy, then it's a waste. It's stupid.
And like we see so many players saying, I'm not going to participate in it. And by all means, maybe just do a quick 5v5 flag football like we see already, but make more competitions. This is All-Star break. Do what the MLB does. Do a home run contest, but obviously not for the NFL. Do like longest throws, longest Hail
Mhm.
Mary throws. Do what the NBA does. Do a dunk contest. Who can do the 40-yard dashes type thing, do field goals, who can kick the farthest. I mean, there's so many cool things that people would actually be willing to see. Like you give me some skills games like that, I think, and you can make it interesting. I think you could count me into watching it.
I completely agree.
But I mean, I think I like it. Maybe everyone gets a bye week in between week 4 and week 10. And then week 15, 16 is your next bye week where everybody's off. And then
Okay.
right after that is playoffs for fantasy football.
Yeah.
It would just be perfect, I think. You could maybe
Yeah.
make that the last. This is more for fantasy sake now. Make it into like the trade deadline week. This is your last chance to make anyone who you want, try and get who you want to really get that push into the fantasy playoffs.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, like the NFL wouldn't be thinking about fantasy
Yeah,
whatsoever.
of course, of
But
course.
if it worked out that way, then it would just, yeah, it would be perfect for fantasy football's sake.
I think it'd be a cool little thing to do, in my opinion. Um, quick other things. Raheem Morris, head coach for the Falcons. He's not expecting quarterback Kirk Cousins at voluntary OTAs. It's looking like we might be seeing that the Niners are going to have to do some sacrifices if they want Brock Purdy's extension to be done. But contracts have been good so far. And then some other ones. Steelers president Art Rooney is saying that there's all signs are positive, in quotes, that the quarterback Aaron Rodgers will be heading to Pittsburgh. I don't know if you saw the April Fool's joke. A lot of people posted that Aaron Rodgers was retiring.
Retired. Yeah, I did see that.
Too funny. Too funny. Gary, did you see Daniel Jeremiah's latest mock?
Can't say I did, but I believe he made a top 10 wide receiver list a couple weeks ago, and Emeka Ibuka wasn't on it. So
Really?
that's, yeah. It, obviously, like in the draft, in terms of
Yeah,
wide
yeah.
receivers in the draft, Emeka Ibuka was not in the top 10, which just completely baffles me. And man, I can't wait for the season because I mean, he has the potential to be the top one. Oh, that was Chris Sims. Okay, maybe it wasn't him, but that's just another thing that we can talk about. Um, just he has potential to be the best wide receiver in the draft, and I hope he's able to do that. But to answer your question, I did not see the latest mock. Um,
Well, I'm looking at it right now. Emeka Buka is nowhere near the not in the top 32, I believe. He's
mhm.
not.
Yeah.
He has him being drafted in the second round,
hmm Yeah, and I mean
and
that
then
that may happen.
here
That
from
may happen. I wouldn't mind if we took him at 33, but um, Cooper, I'm just seeing your message now. Jeremiah had the Browns taking Tyler Shaw at 33. I've seen that multiple times now. I think Mel Kiper just had that as well on his show that he was doing like an hour or
nice.
two ago, which is just. I mean, I'm not even gonna start. I'm not even gonna get into it. I really don't think he's that good. Just another instance where people are overrating the combine, but what are you gonna do?
But that I feel like that happens every single year.
Right. Exactly.
But that's all. Oh, one more quick set of news before. Did you see the win loss betting spreads?
In terms of
Win
game like
totals.
totals for the season,
Yeah.
I did. I
Uh,
saw some of them. Yeah.
Chiefs, Ravens, Eagles, Bills all have 11.5. Would you smash the over on all four of them?
Chiefs, Ravens, Eagles, Bills,
Yeah.
probably.
49ers, I think, are the kind of an odd one. They have a 10.5 win total.
Whoa.
Yeah, that one's a high one. I think I was shocked to see that one. Some other crazy ones that I saw is Dolphins have Vikings, who just had 15 wins, 8.5 win total. They're really sleeping on JJ McCarthy, I will say.
Totally.
Let's see, Jets 5.5 wins. I find this very surprising. I'm honestly smashing the over on the Jets because even though they're cursed, I think they'll get at least 6 or 7 wins with Justin Fields easily.
Yeah, I like that.
5.5 for the Giants as well. I think we could also see 6, 7 wins with Russell Wilson. I'd be surprised if we don't see that.
I'm on the fence. I could go either way.
And then some other low ones: Titans 5.5, Panthers 6.5, Saints 6.5, Raiders 6.5. I would honestly take the underdogs.
I noticed you didn't take the Browns or talk about the Browns.
Do you want to see the Browns?
They are down there too. I believe they're what,
4.5? Let's see. Where are the? Well, the thing that I'm seeing here, Browns aren't not even on the list.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah,
I mean, they shouldn't even be at 2.5. So
2. You don't even think how many wins realistically?
No, they'll probably get like 5. If I had to be realistic, probably.
Let's see. Patriots are 7.5, which I think is a very tough one to bet on. In my opinion.
That's a very tough line.
Yeah, Browns are 4.5. They're the lowest.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So great. You got any more news and notes?
Don't think so.
No. Well, let's get into it. We got ourselves a fantasy rookie mock draft. Gary and I, before the show, we had Siri pick our landing spots. Unfortunately, I got the very last pick, which sucks in a dynasty rookie mock draft because it is not a snake draft. It is a linear draft. So it's not like I can just get a back-to-back picks, which kind of blows in my opinion. But
yeah.
Obviously, CPUs are going to take over. I kind of want to invite Cooper on this. If Cooper wants to join up, I mean, we got some time.
I'm sure he would.
You got his text message.
Yeah, I can send it to him if you actually want me to.
Send him. Yeah, send him. Let's see. Siri, pick a number 1 through 10. Cooper, you have number 7. If you do decide to join. Oh yeah, it is on Sleeper. You know, let's have the fans join in. Would be nice. I think we're going to do that at one point. I think we are going to have a show where we're going to have all 10 slots filled with listeners. And obviously, while Gary's getting Cooper onto the Sleeper mock draft, make sure to be on the lookout for our listener league. They'll be opening back up pretty soon, probably within the next couple months. The listeners will have a chance to join our fantasy league battle between us, and if they win, they will get a guaranteed enter into next year's listener league, which Moonshine Alley, which if you've seen guest star a couple weeks ago, Andy McNamara, he won our first ever listener league, and he'll be getting the trophy. And this year, he won himself a spot. So it's going to be Gary, me, Andy, and Keith as well, and any other listeners who want to battle us and see, which I just want to point out, I should have won it.
There it is.
I should have won it. I got screwed. I lost by like 2 points, and I had the best freaking team at the time.
We'll go with that.
While Cooper's still doing it, again, if you haven't done so already, go use that code SportsTimeHQ on Underdog Fantasy. They're going to match first deposit up to $1,000. So you can't go wrong. The baseball season's here. Gary, what do you think about your Guardians? I almost said Indians.
Yeah, I got them on in the background right now. They're not looking too good. This series has been atrocious in San Diego. But, it's a very, very early part of the season. We haven't even played, 5% of the games yet. So I'm just gonna take it easy this year, and hopefully they can be back in the playoffs like last year.
And I hate to say it, the Red Sox were so overhyped in the
Oh,
rankings. They were so
wait,
overhyped in the rankings, and
yeah.
I loved the rankings. I love seeing the rankings on how much faith they put into the Red Sox. I just didn't think that they were that good, and it's starting to show. And boys, Devers showing how he's doing as a DH.
Yeah, no, it's obviously very early, but man, one could assume that he's doing this on purpose, maybe, huh? I mean,
I was possibly thinking that at first. What if he's sabotaging? Like, just because he either wants to be traded now or he wants to get that third base position.
I honestly wouldn't be surprised. He's off to like a historically bad start. So
I think he's on pace for over
um,
200 strikeouts.
yeah, I think he's got like 16 Ks and 20 at bats or something like that, or
Yeah,
something like that. I don't know.
it's the most strikeouts he's ever had, like a players have ever had to start the season.
Yeah,
Isn't
that
wild?
is absolutely insane. 15 Ks and 19 at bats. That's unbelievable. But
Hey,
go ahead.
I was gonna say no. Go ahead. I was gonna talk about March Madness next.
Oh, that's fine too. I texted Cooper. Cooper, it's on Sleeper. I don't know if you have it downloaded, but I sent you the link to it. So whether you have it downloaded or not, should probably just bring you to it on
Yeah,
Safari, or
and
Google,
once
whatever
you're
you
in
have.
it, once you're in it, you just claim the number 7, Team 7. March Madness, first time I think since 2008 we've had all number 1 seeds in the Final Four.
Yeah, and I hear a lot of people. Um, oh, trying it on your computer. All right, yeah. I don't know how else to get to the link. That's the only thing.
If he
But
copies it, emails it to himself, and then you can just go on email, Gmail, whatever his email is, click the link, and it'll automatically take it to the screen. It should, anyways.
all right,
Yeah,
cool.
March
Well,
Madness.
I hope you
Who do
heard
you
that.
have?
But
Who do you have
yeah,
winning the Final Four?
I think it's gonna be Duke.
Yeah, of course. You riding with everybody else.
They look too good. I mean, are any of these picks going to be bad? They're all 1 seeds. I mean, let's be honest with each other here. Like, I think it's going to be Duke versus Auburn in the championship, and I think Duke will win. I just think that team plays way too hard on both sides of the ball, and they're going to win for the first time in a little bit. And I hear a lot of people saying it's a terrible March Madness because we got all 1 seeds. I mean, let's be honest, guys. Like, the best teams are supposed
Shouldn't
to
it
win.
be then? Yeah, shouldn't it be
Right.
the best of the best teams?
The best teams are supposed to win, and now we're able to say that we have the matchups that we've been wanting to see all year. So
Exactly. I actually have Florida against Duke in the finals,
okay,
and I
okay,
do have Florida taking it, just
wow,
barely,
okay.
but they
So,
just barely
so
take
you're
it.
gonna tell me I'm riding with the most popular team yet on like
No,
30%
but I think Duke.
of
I thought Duke
this
was the
bracket?
most.
I
I
mean,
thought most of the
maybe
bracket
now
was
that
on
we're
Duke.
down, no, maybe now that we're down in the Final Four, maybe it's a different story. But when creating brackets, like 25 to 30% had Florida as the champion, which is the highest.
Really, I had
Yeah.
UConn, but that's because I was trying to root for. I was
Oh, that's
trying to root for
hilarious.
I was trying to root for the three-peat. I was trying to root for the
Mhm.
three-peat. I knew it would be tough, but hey, they almost beat Florida. They lost by 2.
It did. I mean, I really don't think Florida's as good as they are, but that's just
What?
my thoughts on
What
it.
about?
But what's up?
No, I was gonna say, what about the NBA? Did you hear about the Luka veto trade?
Yeah, yeah, that was really real.
I could not believe that.
Yeah,
Imagine,
that was
imagine he
just
went.
stupid.
Imagine.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, Coop, how we
Well,
doing?
yeah, I was gonna say it seems he's having some difficulties.
Yeah, maybe we'll start the draft, and if he can join, he can join up. I don't think he can join
Yeah,
actually right after you click start. I'll give him another minute or so. But again, if you're looking to purchase a trophy, ring, or a belt, go to trophysmack.com/sportstimehq. Again, you can go get that trophy or the ring or the belt. He's downloading the app now.
Okay.
Sleeper is also another place you can bet on, but we're still promoting Underdog Fantasy. So again, at least Underdog Fantasy, they're going to match first deposit up to $1,000. What else we can talk about? Hockey. What's been going around in the hockey world? Bruins suck.
Hey,
I know that.
My Blue Jackets trying to make a push for a playoff spot.
They are trying to make a push.
Have you been keeping up with the race?
I've been keeping up very slightly. I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
I used to be so big into the NHL, and I kind of fell off a little bit.
Me too.
Kind of fell off a little bit, but I think if I'm correct, no team is remotely close to the Bruins win total, like points win total.
What do you mean?
The record that the Bruins had a few years ago. The amount of points.
Yeah, when they. Oh, that's right. The year that they got.
When the year they got first round exits.
Beat in the first round after having said win total. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I unfortunately remember that too. That's so that's the last year I stopped. Last year I paid attention. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. I followed it a little bit. Followed the historic run, and I had actually had a radio show where I talked about it. WCS 90.1 FM radio. You know a lot about that, Gary.
I do. Yeah, nobody's close to it, but I mean, honestly, this is kind of a down year, to be completely honest with you. My Jackets should be nowhere near playoff spot, but they're only 2 points out of it, and they have the most games remaining out of the wild card teams. So they gotta take advantage of it.
There's a good chance. There's definitely a good chance.
Yep.
Oh man, yeah. Actually, one of my first ever shows, I think it was my first ever show on WCS 90.1 FM radio. I actually had a listener call in, a random person who was in the car driving. Because, I was like, make sure to call in 456-2164, make your input. Unfortunately, he didn't even talk about, because in that show, I talked about all four main sports. And I would do 15-minute block segments of each one, just giving the news, recap the games, yada, yada, yada. And of course, he asks me about hockey. And he asked me about the Arizona Coyotes, I believe, who was moving or whatnot. And he was like, what do they have to do? And now I'm not fully in. I don't know too much about Arizona Coyotes, but, I did give some guesses and everything. Not guesses, but I had to do some quick research on the spot to try and figure out what to say, but I tell you, it was a cool experience to get someone on the call, right? Someone you don't even know.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Coop's in here, so we're gonna start the draft. Again, CPUs are just gonna cash down. Oof, this is loud. Let's turn that off. So the first five go G&T, Hampton, Henderson, McMillan, and Judkins. So Gary, we're pretty much in the second round almost.
Yeah, essentially.
Maybe let's only do 3 rounds here. Let's only do 3. I think 3 is pretty fair.
I mean, I guess it's only right because I was talking about.
I knew you were gonna do it. I knew you were gonna do it. Yeah, big Buka.
Might as well.
Coop's on the clock now. I wonder if Igbuka, like these wide receivers, obviously we know they're going to be drafted late in the first. I wonder if these running backs are going to go down as well, like Hampton, Henderson. Like if they fall into the second round, I wonder if they're going to fall to the back end of the first.
Yeah, I mean it's obviously going to be a big thing to see where these guys land because, I mean that just kind of writes their career for themselves. I mean. If you see like I'm surprised they have Travion going at the 1-3.
I know, right?
Because honestly, where he'll end up, he'll probably split carries, or at least where he's mocked to go right now. So to keep an eye on that.
Coop taking Tyler Warren, Sampson then goes, and then Luther Burden. So I really only have. Maybe Cam Ward, Shador Sanders, who are going to be first rounders, possibly. Matthew Golden could be a good shout. I'm going to take the best, one of the best receivers left on the board, and I will take Matthew Golden.
Okay.
Cam Ward goes Harris. Loveland, our thumbnail here. Ooh, Shador being drafted just before
I wanted to take
Gary.
him.
How do you feel on that?
Was not happy with it because I definitely would have taken him right here. But now a guy like Caleb Johnson coming out of Iowa, I want to see where he would land because I really do think he is a great running back that is going to get great value wherever he's drafted. I think he's being seen as a mid-second rounder right now, and I believe he looked like one of the best running backs in the nation this past year. So that could be very valuable to whoever drafts him. I'm kind of just looking at who's available still because obviously you got great guys towards the bottom of this list, but I don't know, man. You got Travis Hunter, but I don't think
the
he's
issue
really
with Travis Hunter is what is his role in the NFL?
Right.
Because before the draft, if they say, hey, he's going to be our main receiver and play sometimes corner, then he's going to jump right into the early first-round picks.
Right, exactly. But I want to play the safe route. I'll just go Caleb Johnson for now.
And Caleb Johnson's a good pick. Coop's on the clock here. And
he'll take a stab right at it.
Yeah, he'll take no questions asked. He was really hoping you wouldn't take him. Isaiah Bond's a good pick in the second round. I think he could be a good sleeper pick here. I'm on the clock here, and this might be. You know what? I think I'm going to do it. I'm going to take Etienne's brother, Trevor Etienne. I think there's got to be a chance that this is where he goes. I was debating between him or Jackson Dart. I do want to go after Jackson Dart. I did. Damn. Okay, so maybe I should have just went Dart at 210, but I wanted Dart. I think Dart's going to be a very good sleeper in my opinion in leagues. And out of all the quarterbacks, I would take my chance on Dart in fantasy.
I wanted either Dart or Harold Fannin Jr. and they both won a couple of picks before me.
Let me tell you a quick story. You can work on making your pick while I tell you the story. But you know how I told you Andy McNamara came on the show and did a mock draft?
Mm-hmm.
He made it wild. You know who the number 2 overall pick was for
Who's that?
Cleveland Browns?
Who's that?
Jackson Dart.
Really?
He put Jackson Dart at the number 2 overall. I couldn't believe it.
That's crazy. But I mean, I guess if you want to get wild, that's a way that you can do that.
If it's maybe a mid-round pick, I could see it. But Dart at number 2, I was just shocked. I had no words. When he said Jackson Dart, I was lost for words because I thought he was going to take Sanders.
Well, I'm looking at all these guys left, and to be honest, let me just give a quick shout out to my guy, Kyle Monangai. Absolute beast at Rutgers. Another guy that I think could blossom in the NFL if he goes to the right team.
Yeah, I think that's a good pick in my opinion. Again, these are a lot of dart throws now in the third round. Obviously, once the draft goes around, we'll be able to really identify the value on these players. Chisholm going, Arroyo.
That is.
What would you say?
I have no idea who Efton Chisholm is. I'm being honest with you.
Cooper, if you have any insight on Chisholm, Gary wants to know.
I have absolutely no idea who that is.
I'm surprised this guy actually fell to me, but let me take a quick stab at Devin Neal. I mean, still on the board at 310. I think he could be another sleeper running back. I think in this draft, we know that there's a lot of depth for wide receivers, but I think the bigger thing is the running backs in this draft. I think there's a lot more running back potential in the mid rounds that we're going to see being drafted. And I mean, I don't think I've ever seen 10 running backs in the first 2 rounds being drafted, or 9 running backs in the first 2 rounds being drafted.
Yeah, that is crazy.
Coop, he's saying Eastern Washington slot guy. He's the next Cooper Kupp.
literally just because he went to Eastern Washington and played the slot. That just, I mean, that just doesn't even make sense. But okay.
I wonder what his what is it called? NFL comparison is. What his NFL comparison? I don't think it's Cooper Kupp.
Cooper Kupp. Yeah.
Don't
Exactly.
think it's Cooper Kupp. But how do you think the draft went for you? This is the first ever one we've ever done.
Yeah, no, that was cool. I mean, I actually think I'm going to be getting either the 6 or the 7 pick in my top dynasty draft that I'm doing. So this gave me some early insight. Again, can't stress enough that, and I mean, it's just obvious. This will look completely different once the draft actually happens because,
oh my goodness, yeah.
I mean, obviously, like you said, if Travis Hunter comes out as being, a wide receiver 1 first, or primary wide receiver 1, or he's going to be taking wide receiver 1 snaps in the NFL, then he'll easily go in the top 3 or 4 picks. And then obviously the running back situation will look a lot different once we know where everybody goes. Same thing with Tedero McMillan and Buka Burden. So yeah, I mean, we're still very early into the year, and I didn't even talk about the quarterbacks. I mean, Cam Ward could be a top 5 pick when, things are all said and done.
Yeah, exactly. 3 quarterbacks go. I think these are really the main 3 that probably should be drafted in the first 3 rounds, first 4 rounds maybe. I mean, if you're taking more dart throws, I mean, there's opportunity, but I think those are really the only ones that you really need in fantasy. Because a lot of them are going to be backups. The only other option is whoever is drafted to the Steelers is the one that I want to pay the most attention to.
Okay.
Whether it's Sanders, whether it's Dart, whether it's any other quarterback. Because the moment Rodgers is done, whether it's 1 year or 2 years, that guy's going to come in. And depending on how much draft capital they spend, I think that's the next guy to come up and show how well he can play.
Okay.
Cooper Daly saying he thought the draft went great. Travis will be the Pats wide receiver 1. It was between Higgins and Chisholm, and I just think Chisholm has a higher ceiling through his entire career. Well, honestly, I'm perfectly fine not drafting Travis Hunter as a Patriots fan, but I know a lot of people want him. And
Travis Hunter's ceiling as a wide receiver is a great wide receiver too. So I'm seeing like that.
I just want us to trade down, and I want us to get Ashton Jeanty. And I want us to trade down, get Ashton Jeanty, and then we trade back into the first with Ramondre Stevenson. And let's try and get like maybe 25, 26 pick, maybe 24. Maybe yes, sir. You already know what time it is.
Yeah, I know you're a fan of his.
I'm a big fan. I will be spending all my draft capital in Dynasty to get Egbuka. Whether it's the 6 or whether it's the 4, I will be getting him.
Love it.
But hey, that's pretty much about it. Quick little show.
That's it, man.
Quick little show.
Short show, yeah.
But that's going to do it for this week's show. Short one, but hey, we are back. Don't you sweat it. Every single week, Wednesdays and Sundays. Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Sundays, 12 p.m. Eastern Time. Again, if you haven't done so already, go purchase that trophy ring or belt on TrophySmack.com/SportsTimeHQ. And again, if you haven't done so already, go use that code SportsTimeHQ on Underdog Fantasy. They're going to match first deposit, not up to $100, but up to $1,000. Yeah, add those 3 zeros at the end and make your worthwhile to go bet. But gamble responsibly, of course. Again, great show today. Thanks to Cooper Daly coming on to the show and joining in for some Makalaka time. Yeah, we're going to have mocks all throughout this Makalaka month. And guest stars coming soon as well. And that'll be a lot of fun. Again, I'm joined by my great co-host, Gary. Go follow him all over social media at GDPicks. I'm Fernando. I'm your host of Sports Time HQ. And we will see you all on Sunday.